Men are right when they said women hit the wall at 35.
This hurts my feelings and hurts my ego, but I fear I'm being ghosted.
You know, like ladies expire faster than men. So you need to utilize it more. Like if you find the opportunity.
Hitting the wall is like a punishment for the bad choices that were made in their prime.
I want to let you know your life doesn't end at 27, at 28. You're still going to be hot in 10 years.
In a few of my videos, I talk about a post-wall woman because I was called a post-wall woman.
So I've been ghosted by my situationship story.
The harsh reality begins. Modern women added more salt to their own wound. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
So I want to talk about something today that I feel like not a lot of people talk about. But did you know that guys have an expiration date too? I feel there's so much emphasis placed around women and us having these timelines, right? But you have a timeline too. I live in Los Angeles, so it's a little different here, and people do tend to settle down later on in life. But I can't begin to tell you like the number of guys that I've met who are like in their 40s and still single. Never been married, don't have any kids, and it's like, guys expire just as easily as women do. Totally get that you want to spend your 30s like having fun, like hooking up and doing your thing. But it gets to a certain point where it's like, yo, like, you need to settle down. No one wants to date the 45-year-old that's still going to the club and spending his Aprils at Coachella. Your ship has sailed, man. Don't let yourself be that guy that's going after chicks that are 15 years younger than them and you guys literally have nothing in common anymore. I get it. I mean, even if you're rich though, it's like, then all you have is your money. And at that point, the only chicks you're going to be attracting are the chicks that want your money. So don't be that dude that lets himself expire. Follow me for more tips.
Yeah, this is completely incorrect. Men do not have a biological clock, which is what the wall and fertility is correlated to. It is mainly the reason why women hit the wall at 35 and over. Men don't really need to worry about a clock because they can even have kids in their 70s if they choose to do so. But what men do have is a financial clock. That's why a man should focus on himself instead of women. But a man does expire, maybe at 90.
I got ghosted by a 35-year-old man recently. And I don't know, I kind of feel like if you're ghosting at 35, you just need to be put down.
Are you crazy?
I am being so violently ghosted right now that I'm questioning my own existence.
I'm over the idea that women expire as they get older. Why do men get to age like fine wine, but women expire? I'm just gonna get hotter as I get older. That's the plan for me. So in 10 years, I'll be exponentially hotter than I am now, and I have no expiration date.
If I say I don't like fat girls, they're gonna try to cancel me. If you say I don't like short men, no one's gonna care.
Right.
Versus a fat girl can control her weight, but a man can't control his height.
Correct.
So you just got ghosted. Now what? I feel like getting ghosted doesn't get talked about enough, despite how often it happens in today's dating world. Your friends and family probably tell you that they suck and you should just forget about them and move on. It still hurts when somebody decides to disappear from your life without giving you any notice. Although I do agree that moving on after getting ghosted is the best thing to do, I think you still need to tend to your hurt feelings. There's a good chance that you were quite interested in that person, and them not reciprocating those feelings can be hurtful.
There's no denying that ghosting sucks for either party. It leaves the person who is ghosted feeling confused, rejected, and hurt, wondering what went wrong. Ghosting can damage self-esteem, trust, and the ability to form future relationships. But it is something that happens to literally anybody. The best thing to do is just move on.
Why do you think it's so much harder to date today? It should be easier than ever.
We have so much choice. You have this illusion that there are so many other people out there. So you go on a first date and then it's like, yeah, I had a good time, but let me go see who else is out there. Let me see who's at this other party. There's this idea that it's not like you're going to focus on one person if you don't feel amazing chemistry the first time. Sometimes it takes hanging out with people over time.
Yeah, I don't even try to have sex with anymore with men anymore because I know that I'm like gross to them because I'm over the age of 30 and like, you know, there is a chance that my kids could have like something wrong if I did get pregnant.
Right.
So I don't even want to risk that for my kids.
Yeah, I've already come to the terms that we're senior citizen retirees at this point of the game. But like young women, like the one we have here today, she's the future of us, but only for a couple more years.
She's honestly, she's got like 2 years.
2 years.
This was probably funny to them, but being ignorant to the truth will not be funny later on, and it will hurt them even more. And the fact is, this woman is still single and unmarried. You would think she would try to help these younger women avoid the path she took, but instead, she's dragging them along.
For most women over the age of 25, they're done. They will not have happy marriages, they will not be submissive wives, and they are too stuck in their ways. Really, the only solution I see is the next generation of women learning from the older generation of women and doing better and moving forward. But the way it is now, I don't see it as a viable option for men.
I don't think it's ever going to happen again. I think that marriage and relationships are finished. I was married 25 years, and my ex left for a guy 20 younger and took half my life savings. Good luck. Time is more valuable these days. No one is going to chase you. Be easy and amazing or be single. Move with time or you will be left behind. Women chase the bad boys. Then after they realize bad boys treat them like crap, they go back to the men who actually cared. By then, those men don't care. Single men like myself are going to be single the rest of their lives. There's nothing on it for us anymore these days. A lot of retirement homes full of leftover women coming soon. It's a wonderful suggestion, but I doubt these women are even worried about that at the moment. The only thing that concerns them is racking up body counts partying, taken out on trips, and having multiple sugar daddies. And by the way, these things aren't free. The women that usually come to their senses happens around when they're 40 and still screaming, "Where are the good men are at?" Another thing is, women don't hold each other accountable. Instead of looking at their friends and tell them that they're wrong and need to change their behavior, they just applaud and support it. It's all downhill from here.
Today's hot take is that being a simp is actually so attractive. Wow, that is really red. Like, guys will fully bully each other about being a simp. It's genuinely so attractive. And I just don't get why they get bullied for it. Like, it's so attractive, a guy knowing what they want and like being obsessed with you and like adoring you. Like, that's really attractive. Surely you girls have to agree that a simp is just the best thing ever. Every girl wants a simp.
No real man is a simp. We don't chase what isn't our purpose for the lowest form of sovereignty amongst men. Nice try, lady. We've heard this exact same script 100 times before. We know it's a load of BS. If you're a guy and you're simping for a woman, she will never respect you. The woman has to be simping for the man for it to work. Anything a girl says, always do the opposite. Look at all those fools on here praising women and never get any action. Let me rephrase that for the guys. Girls want a simp as a friend, not a boyfriend. That's a complete lie. Women want the simpy guys because these guys lack morality and respect in themselves. Therefore, that man showers her with attention. If these simp guys were really attractive, then why aren't women dating them? Why are they being used for dates? Why do women take advantage of them? That's because women see them as weak males. Those men are only there to fill up their egos. They would never take a man like that seriously. Overall, I believe men need to be focusing on themselves and improving. Do not get distracted by the lies.
What do you think the issue is with modern dating?
I think men are idiots. All of them.
Okay. So I would be one of those idiots too.
It's okay, not you, but most.
Well, you just said all men.
Just most, not all. I take back what I said.
Why are most men idiots?
They just don't listen. They don't care. They only think for themselves.
You don't think women do the same thing?
No, I don't. I think women care a lot more, and I think women invest their feelings and men don't.
This is just projection, she meant to say. The men that she's choosing are idiots. All she has to do is stop fishing in the same pond. The issue with men expressing their feelings is that it would create an even bigger issue, so they don't. And what's with the excessive nodding?
Stop! What do you think's a bigger problem, toxic masculinity or toxic femininity?
Masculinity.
What is toxic masculinity?
Are
you a teenager?
No. I'm 24.
Too old.
Expired.
It's different for guys.
He's not running through girls.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know that.
And also,
Allegedly.
men don't
Allegedly.
expire as fast as females do. You get to 25 and that's it.
It's just different.
That's not. Hold on.
No, it's true.
Disagree on
It's
that.
downhill. It's downhill after 25.
Well,
And
yes,
I promise
there's
you
a bit of a difference when it comes to peak and whatever, but
Truthfully, it happens around 30 and up. These women are still getting the attention, but not as much as they used to get it. Women control access to sex, and men control access to marriage. Men who are absent sexually don't run through women. Women are granting that access willingly.
If you've been ghosted, you know what? The best thing to do is just ignore them. Ignore them. Act like you didn't even realize you were ghosted. Oh, your life amazing without...
What's a reason that you got ghosted after hooking up with somebody that was completely your fault? I'll go first. I had just gone through a breakup, and the guy that I started talking to had the exact same name as my ex-boyfriend, go figure. We hit it off. Personality, banter, we were FaceTiming. He introduced me to his mother, okay, before we slept together. So we have our first date, he comes over, we like spend the whole night together, we do a bunch of fun stuff, we go for walks. This guy's like not hitting on me. I was like, wow, I found a good one. So we fucked once, it was great. Now we've been drinking a little bit, and we were fucking again before bed, and he was like, say my name or whatever. So we start like dirty talking, and I say his name, which was my ex-boyfriend's name, and now I'm kind of like fucked up. And I ended up telling this man that I loved him because like in my drunken stupor, I thought it was like my ex-boyfriend. Yeah, I told this man I loved him, and yeah, he never talked to me again. Completely my fault. Red flag? Yeah.
I would say this woman is unhealed and suffering from a traumatic experience. This is why I think women shouldn't engage in casual hookups. They often become emotionally invested. Women form deep emotional connections, making casual encounters more harmful and leading to emotional turmoil. Unlike men, who might separate emotions from physical intimacy more easily, women are more likely to be affected. In this woman's case, while hooking up, she's thinking about her ex, which deepens her emotional pain and prevents her from moving on. This attachment to past relationships makes casual hookups even more harmful to their well-being.
We've basically told a great generation of young women, don't get married, don't have kids, go get a corporate job, and it's created mass political hysteria. And then in their early 30s, they get really upset because they say, you know, the boys don't want to date me anymore because they're not at their prime. And people get mad when I say that. Well, it's just true. If you're in your early 30s, I'm sorry. It's like you're not as attractive in the dating pool as you were in the early 20s. But again, you have your corporate job and cats, so I thought, you know.
So this has kind of been a conversation about women hitting their wall for a while. And the wall is basically the point at which women, and apparently this doesn't really exist for men, the women reach the point where they are no longer getting more attractive or gaining more value in the eyes of a potential mate and are kind of on the back end. So they're on the downhill. Their looks are getting worse. The attraction or attractiveness that they have to a guy is getting less and less, and they are no longer seen as kind of the cream of the crop. They've passed their prime, and there are some disagreements about what this age is. Some people say it's 26, some people say it's 30, some people say it's 35, some people say it's 40. And so there are some conversations, some kind of interesting, some not interesting at all, and just downright objectifying and degrading.
There we are. The same words that feminists use. Objectifying, degrading, blah, 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 cry me a river. Christian women love telling men how to talk. They love, think of the red pill as a locker room. Think of this guys chatting in the locker room. And then the trad con feminists come in and say, don't say it like that. Is it true or is it not true? That's what we got to focus on. Is the information correct instead of crying about how it makes us feel?
It's true. Downhill for looks is 26, but it's a slow decline. But after 35, when fertility severely declines, is where I would put the wall. A rose will bloom. It then will fade. So does the youth. So does the fairest maid. Shakespeare. It is definitely not above 35. 35 is the wall. Our Western family way of life has been completely destroyed. Welcome to reality. It's not about passing their prime. It's the attitude and delusional self-worth that the current generation have that stops them from finding a real relationship. Yes, women have a wall because beauty is not infinite. Men's only attractive feature seems to be money. There is no wall for money. Everyone's perspective is obviously different when it comes to this. Personally, from what I've seen, women have been brainwashed by feminism. They've been fed this idea that they don't need men, don't need marriage, and that they can be strong by themselves. The women who usually take that path ends up alone in a big house, a box of wine, and a few cats. For example, this woman right here, she says, women are getting smart enough to realize they don't need or want a man to have a fulfilling life. This is not true at all, because once they've hit that 40 range mark, their perspective change. The rest of them are just coping and bathing in their own misery. You never hear women who are in happy marriages say such things. They always show appreciation to their man. It's only the ones that men don't want once they're past their prime. It's drizzle season. Keep away from the birds.
Guys, as if being ghosted by my situationship last week wasn't enough, my therapist did not show up to our session this morning. Like, I'm just in the waiting room. I've been in the waiting room for like 30 minutes. My abandonment issues are trifling right now.
Oh, like sex?
Yeah.
Okay, I have an opinion that you can have sex whenever you want. First date, if you want.
I agree with you.
If you're a grown adult, you felt a connection, you're horny, you feel safe, you feel comfortable, you can have sex with them. If they don't call you afterwards, it's because they're not interested in you. That's a fact. Maybe some guy's gonna be like, oh, well, she slept with me, she sleeps with everybody, but you don't like her. Because if you really like her,
You wouldn't worry.
you would be happy that she slept with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I know that men are literally dogs?
Literally. And that's opposed to figuratively.
Because a woman will be with a man for 5, 6, 7, sometimes even 10 years, begging for this man to put a ring on it. And
the question that should be being asked here is, first of all, why is she hanging around that long for a man that obviously isn't going to propose? Not to mention, she could have proposed herself. But all in all, it's just showing a lack of self-esteem.
And he goes, no, like, I'm just not ready, I'm not ready. She goes,
no, it wasn't that he wasn't ready, per se. It's that he wasn't ready to marry her.
You know what? F off. I'm giving you the ultimatum. You either marry me or we break things off. Majority of the time, men will go, you know what? We're just going to break things off then. And within 1 year, a single year, this man will be engaged to another woman.
Like I said, and I'll say it again, he just wasn't ready to marry her. So pay attention, ladies. Most men know very early on in the stages of a relationship if they actually want to marry the woman that they're dating. So don't sit around waiting for years and begging for a man to marry you that has already made up his mind a long time ago that he doesn't want to.
I waited 7 years to propose to my wife. It's not that I wasn't ready. It was that we were so busy moving, taking vacations, remodeling our homes, etc. Once our life settled down, I did. No timeline. I took 9 years to marry my wife. I knew the day I met her I wanted her. I have been trying to divorce her for a year. Now she won't sign paperwork. Because marriage is a risk for men, and the biggest financial decision a man can make is the woman he chooses to marry. 55 here and never been married, and have no intention to get married. But any woman I have been with, even my girlfriend now, I tell them this up front. Men do have an issue marrying the woman they're dating. The question is she worth it? Some people get married very late in their lives, and some people get married very early. On the other hand, some people just don't feel the need to get a contract signed to say they're married, especially if their lives are already going great. Marriage is a risky thing, and men generally get married when they're ready. There's no timeline on it.
They don't need men to be happy. In China, if a woman is over 30 years old, but she's still not getting married, and then they'll be labeled as 剩女, which means leftover woman. I really do not like the saying there. But there's another character for 剩女, which means they are single, independent, are financially free, confident, they are well educated. They don't need men to be happy.
Stop lying.
Men want to be taken out and all this other stuff. Like, you a man, like, be a man, like.
A man, hold on. You want a man in the Bible, so that's a traditional man, correct?
Yeah.
But modern day women aren't traditional themselves. Why should he be traditional?
It's the generation now.
What's a traditional female?
This is just straight up hypocrisy. I find it funny how women can tell you everything a man is supposed to be doing, but if you ask her what a woman is supposed to be doing, she won't be able to tell you. That's just the entitlement that comes with them. How about being a traditional woman? Then maybe you'd receive that kind of treatment, huh?
Oh, he ghosted me after we hooked up. Let me make one thing very, very clear, okay? There is nothing that you can or cannot do that will make a man like you or not like you. Aside from the usual, like, being crazy and needy and stuff, right? But if sleeping with you changes a man's energy and he stops talking to you, stops texting you, stops calling you, stops taking you on dates and all that stuff, like, he never wanted that to begin with. If you give him the poom poom and he disappears, that's all he really wanted. Yes, of course, it hurts your ego. You think it's about you, but, like, it's really not. Chemistry and connection and feelings and relationships and all those things are something that we can't really scientifically explain, even though a lot of dating coaches try to make it seem like that. Like, don't get it fucked up. A man categorizes you within like 5 to 15 minutes of meeting you, okay? If all he wanted to do was get between your legs and he got it, he's gone. And a lot of these guys will play the long game. So, I don't know. Personally, I would be happy because the trash took itself out.
We were close friends for 3 years. One night, he's gone. There could be many reasons why the man disappears. One reason is the kitty can be trash. I'm just adding that in there because she forgot. But if a man can get between your legs that easily, that's probably gonna worry him. He's probably gonna see you as an easy catch. She's calling men trash, but women literally do the same thing to men that's taken them on dates. Are they considered trash as well? Do they also take themselves out when they ghost? Instead of focusing on hooking up with people, these women should redirect that focus into finding and building genuine connection.
Oh, glad you're back again. I'll never forget you. They said we...
I don't know why this woman thinks this is a flex, but
you need help. I could be perfect for a guy, and he could talk to me 1-2 days or a few weeks, and then all of a sudden just ghost. There's no explanation. What have I said? What have I done? Just to even let me know so I know that I'm not the problem here, that it's actually you're mad.
Question for the men. When you were going through a breakup, do you talk about it at all? Like with your friends or family? I was just catching up with my guy friend, and him and his girlfriend broke up like a month ago. And I asked him a question about it, and he goes, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. In all honesty, this is the first time I'm really talking about it. So, like, you're telling me that you have spent the last 4 weeks moving about your life like absolutely nothing happened. Just like drowning in your own thoughts. Yeah, no big deal at all. I would be in a mental hospital. Beyond unwell. I genuinely do not understand how this is possible.
Okay, so as a woman, one thing that I'm very sick and tired of seeing is all of these women giving bad advice, especially to the younger women. Because you know what it is? Misery loves company. I see all of these women in their 30s, 40s, 50s that are giving terrible advice to women in their 20s and even younger than that. So coming from a woman, I'm going to be honest with you and I'm going to tell you what hitting the wall means. So men value different things than women do. They value beauty, youth, and they value someone that respects themselves. When you start aging, your biological clock is ticking, and that is just a real fact. Going into your 30s, your options are going to be less than when you were in your 20s. And those guys around your age are now looking at the younger women, and you're going to be competing now with the 20-year-olds for the guys that you want. And then now when you're ready to start settling down and possibly start thinking about having kids, those same guys might feel like you're rushing them, and they might not want the same things at this point. So then the dating market starts getting stressful, and then now these women are rushing for time because now their biological clock is really ticking and they want to go through the stages. And then a lot of them end up single, a lot of them end up childless because they chose to have fun in their 20s instead of looking for a relationship. And they thought that when the time came that they did want to settle down, that they would still have all the options that they had when they were 20. But then reality hits, and a lot of them end up childless and single, and not by choice. So don't listen to all of these women that are saying that they're so happy and they're so content with not having children and they didn't want to get married, because the reality is that a lot of them did, most of them did. And by that point, they just didn't have a choice anymore. And so they had to accept that now they are childless and single. So of course they're going to make the best out of it. But what I don't like is that they're preaching to the younger generation that this is the way to go. Because if they could have chosen otherwise, they would have.
We want what we want, but I've seen many more happy single older men than I have women. Misery loves company. The truest statement ever told. This is 100% true. If you want a husband, prepare yourself early to be a wife in the days of your youth, the flower of your age. We also value legacy. It's not just beauty and youth, it's vigor and vibrancy. We like the spirit younger women often have that older women have lost. 100% facts. There are men that want marriage and family in their 20s. If you date men who aren't committed, your picker is broke. Good men do exist. This is amazing. But these women will hear this and continue pushing forward on their path. That's why I say the wall exists to knock their senses back to them, knock them back into reality. But the women who are leading these younger women astray are bitter. They're professionals when it comes to shaming men for having their preferences. And it's funny because men are just wired that way. They call them predators, creepy, or trying to take advantage of her. But when a woman goes for a younger man, they applaud her. They say she's still got it. Get it, girl. It's just double standards at its finest.
A hot take I have is that if you decide to ghost someone after being intimate with them, you need to really commit to that ghost, you know? Like, personally, for me, if I were to ghost someone after being intimate with them and moving past ghosting territory, I would unshare my location if a location were to have been shared. You know what I mean? I would definitely not ghost someone while still sharing my location. But, you know, to each their own. Another thing I would do if I were to ghost someone after being intimate with them, I would not start liking their stories, posts, interacting with their shit, you know? I wouldn't do that, right? But again, do what you want. If I were to do that and then the person I've been ghosting reached out to me and said a kind, what the hell? I then would maybe use that as an opportunity to address them, you know? But if I chose not to, if I chose to continue to ghost after that, and they made their choice to unfollow me and remove me as a follower, I wouldn't re-follow them.
Basically, this woman is speaking from her own experience. Apparently, after she was intimate with someone, that person ended up ghosting her afterwards. This is why it's important to establish a relationship before engaging in such activities. If you're just sleeping with the person hoping they're gonna date you, then it's kind of your own fault.
They will miss you and they will eventually come back around and try to message you in the most randomest moments. And that's because they feel your energy detaching from them. Do not attach back your energy and your good energy and your good vibrations with them when they are feeling and like they are fiending for your good energy and your good vibrations. Stay detached and let them stay over there fiending for your energy and your good vibrations. Remember that today.
This sounds great, but it creates a problem for these women. What they're doing is subconsciously training themselves to move on to the next man, to the next man, and so on. The reason why these women are having this issue is because they're attracting the same types of guys. The guys who's gonna play games with them, the players. You would think they would change or try a different type, but I guess they just can't get enough of the toxicity.
I just remembered that I've been ghosted before. I'm sorry. Wow, really no one is safe out here. Like, come on. This? Maybe it's a personality thing. Oh no!
Why is dating so hard?
What do you mean hard?
Do you know what hard means?
Yeah, like
Difficult,
why,
Ashley, difficult.
Why do you think dating is hard? I wouldn't say it's hard. I feel like that's like an opinion.
Why do you think it's easy?
Say men are easy.
Men are easy. I don't know what to say. I don't want to do this anymore.
I want to
All
keep
right.
doing it.
Why is it easy for you?
Because men are just easy.
So women get sex easier than men.
I don't know, but I think it's easier to seduce a man than it is easier to seduce a woman.
In what ways and why?
Because men are desperate and they'll talk to any woman that looks their way, but women will find the right man to let them talk to them.
So it's easier for a woman to get sex.
Sure, yeah.
What they're saying is, it's easy for them to get the man to sleep with them, but they can't get that man to take them seriously or marry them. But if we're talking about dating, dating in general is way harder for men comparing to women.
So I've been ghosted by my situationship. Story time. So I've been seeing this guy for like the last 2.5 months and we talk every single day religiously. The more and more I think about it, the more I'm realizing that it was always me actually sending the DM first. Anyways, moving on. So he needed to leave the country in order to renew his visa because he's not Australian. And I knew this when we first started hanging out, so it's my fault that I caught the feels. But we went out on dates all the time, we hung out all the time. It became like a 3-date per week type of thing. And you know the 3-date rule, right? Once it becomes more than 3 dates, you're basically dating. Or maybe I was just in the wrong mindset around that. So anyways, he leaves the country and we talked for the first 24 hours that he's left, and now I haven't heard from him. And he's watching all my stories, so that makes me kind of concerned. And people are like, he's just busy, you know, he's trying to renew his visa, he's just busy. We are all on our phones. I think this whole we're too busy is just a load of BS. Someone help me. Am I overthinking it, or is this situationship done? And I really hope he doesn't see this.
This is ridiculous. I don't know who came up with this 3-day rule, but it's nonsense. It doesn't mean that you are dating. What signifies that you guys are dating is the fact that you guys communicate about it and establish that relationship. Just because you're sleeping with someone doesn't mean you guys are actually together. She did say he was her situationship. A situationship is not a relationship. That's what she's getting confused.
Do we need men?
No.
Do we need men?
No.
No?
We don't need short men.
Do you need a man?
No.
Do you need a man?
Oh, God.
Do you need a man?
No.
Do we need men?
No.
Why?
No.
Do we need men?
No.
No? Do we need men?
We need men to make us stupid.
Do we need men? Do we need men? Do women need men in this world? Do we need men?
No.
Why?
Because we can be strong, independent women.
Do we need men?
Like, not necessarily, but like, if I can look at them, like, we need a man to look at.
Do we need men?
No!
No, why?
Nobody needs men!
Really?
We do not need men!
Why not? Why don't we need men?
Why would I need men?
So what can you get from someone else that you don't get from a man?
The only thing I can get from a man that I can't get anywhere else is dick.
Okay.
And I don't need dick.
Do we need women?
Yes.
We do. Why?
These women are awesome.
Do we need women?
Of course.
Why?
Yeah, you do need women.
They're beautiful.
Do we need women?
Women make us feel compassionate, affectionate.
Do we need women?
Of course we do.
Do we need women?
Yes.
Why?
Because they're hot.
And what else?
They're hot.
Do we need women?
I mean, shit, unless they're gay.
Do we need women?
Do we need women?
Yeah.
Yes, who's gonna do my dishes?
They don't need a man, yet they're all outside getting drunk and trying to get men to buy them drinks. I always say, never believe a woman's words. Always judge her by her actions, because you will learn a lot more. If you think about it, this video sums up dating as to why relationships today don't last. With this kind of hive mentality they have, we can clearly see who's the problem.
How do you feel about ghosting in general? I'm honestly fine with it. If it was like 2 dates, if you make it to a 3rd date, you can't ghost. I don't feel the need to give a giant explanation. Yeah, I've been ghosted one time and I was thrilled about it because it like tells you everything you need to know about somebody. And we had gone on like a few dates. I always tell people when they ask me, I think it's great when someone ghosts because they're showing you their level of communication. Yeah, I've never had like a real ghosting experience where it's like, I felt I was owed an explanation.
I read 2 hours ago. Well, he's probably just really busy. Like, it's literally a Monday, so... You know, I was starting to panic, but then I thought he had to get home from work, have a shower, and he takes really long showers. You know what happened? I bet he crashed his car on the way home from work. I wonder if I can look that up on the DVLA. Maybe his grandma died, and they're probably just doing, like, the funeral in the same day. Just do it all in one. Maybe he died. I mean, it's a possibility. Active 2 minutes ago. Maybe I should ask about his grandma.
You need help.